Hey, this is Squeeze, here showing off my newest build. This is a Starfall uh, Assassin Abyss Stacker. This build uses Abyss Jewels along with Light Poacher and Shroud of the Lightless in order to scale a bunch of physical as extra elemental damage, get a bunch of penetration, get a bunch of life. Um, and ultimately, it's I'd say fine. Um, I'm not really like in love with the defenses of the build. Kind of just like running around with Grace and 4K life, and then occasionally, if I die, I die, sort of thing. Um, yeah, it's I have elusive and infused channeling, fortify, a couple of defensive layers, but nothing crazy. It's definitely not like the tankiest setup of all time. It's kind of just tanky enough to do T16.5 stuff. I haven't tried any T17s on this, nor have I done any Ubers. I know I don't have the damage to comfortably do Ubers, um, especially as a melee build. It's just, I'd rather not, you know what I mean? Especially like Uber Cirrus. It's just not in the cards. But regardless, the build is really fun. Um, Scaling up some increased area of effect. I'm not sure if increased area of effect or concentrated effect is better for bosses because the Starfall is, an area skill. It's an attack as well, but it is an area skill, and so the increasing the area of effect increases the spread of the meteors, but it also increases the size of the impact. So it's I don't know. I think concentrated effect is better against bosses, but I have to test it a little more. That being said, I've kind of just been running around with shrines, having some fun with the apparition shrines because they give a lot of physics extra as well. And then obviously gloom shrines are very fun to come across. Massive shrines are fun as well. Um, Overall, this character's not exactly the meta defining powerhouse of the league, but it is very fun. It can kill some bosses just fine. It survives a couple hits and has some evasion and good damage. Running alt ailments right now, but you know, it's kind of just is what it is. It's fine. But yeah, I think there's a couple different iterations of this build that can be made. Maybe like an Elementalist, Slayer, Inquisitor. Just a lot of different variations on how something like this can really perform. Maybe even a Berserker wouldn't be bad, but yeah. Gonna get into the character and show you what I did. Alright, here we are in the character. Not the Adele song. It's because Starfall, like Skyfall, the song. Anyway, this character is a assassin stacking Abyss Jewels and power charges as much as I can, which is really to say I took the power charge nodes on the tree, and I am an assassin, so I have 7 power charges. Using Badge of the Brotherhood, I have 7 frenzies, and then my mercenary has replica whatever shield that gives me some endurance charges.
Go on, get on with it.
So it's like 3 endurance charges right now. I could get 4 if I just spent a point, but it's also not that consistent currently, so I don't bother. If I had like a double kinetic blast of clustering mercenary, then it would be more consistent, but I'm trying to get one with hatred for the extra damage. Regardless, though, we are building around the Starcaller axe. This axe is terrible, just not good. but it's cool, so I wanted to do something around that, and it triggers level 20 Starfall on melee critical strike. Starfall is actually an attack, not a spell, so accuracy is doubly important, but that means you would use like LE damage with attacks, vicious proj, things like that, and try to scale its damage the same way you would a regular attack. This also means that you're scaling your cyclone damage as well, so my cyclone's actually doing a decent amount, like maybe around 1,000,000 or so DPS. So not terrible on that front. But yeah, the damage on this axe is not good, so basically my and every other person who tries to build around this this axe's idea was to Abyss Jewel stack, get a bunch of flat fizz on your Abyss Jewels, some life, and then use Shroud of the Lightless, Light Poacher. And as you can see, I'm just taking every jewel slot I can in order to get all my stuff up. Honestly, I'm not too sure about Secrets of Suffering here. It's, you know, it's capping out my crit and giving me some Scorch and all that stuff, but it's just, you know, maybe it's not worth it. Either way, we are then using, like I said, Shroud of the Lightless. We get Spirit Charges on kill. Our Mercenary is holding 2 Squirming Terror Rings. These rings, as you can see, are dropping worms. Them worms get killed. We generate Spirit Charges on bosses. So, and because our AoE is large enough that when we're hitting a boss, the Starfalls come raining down and kill all the worms for us, that keeps us topped off. So, it's kind of a little bit of a ramp against bosses, but, you know, it works out. Moving on, we are using a Bound by Destiny Jewel to give us some CDR and Frenzy charges. And then we just have 4 Redeemer items here on our 4 rare pieces of gear. Socket pressure on this build is crazy, so I have unset rings, but yeah, as you can see, Redeemer, 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 and then 2 Shaper items. If you can find another way to generate frenzies, then you only need the 2 Shaper items, and, you know, you can mess around with other stuff. But this just was the most consistent thing I could find. And I don't have the socket space for a Mark skill, so I couldn't just take Mark the Prey and Mark Mastery for it. So, is what it is. But yes, the Spirit Charges. They actually need you to take the Agnostic if you're going to try to use this on bosses. And the reason is, Spirit Charges get expended when you use a skill. Okay? So that means when I Frost Blink, and I have a Spirit Charge, I'll even show you, I have 10 Spirit Charges. It casts. So you give it a mana cost, take the Agnostic, and then reserve a bit of your life. It will set your mana permanently to 0 basically by draining it constantly. This means that you are unable to cast Spirit Burst when you give it Archmage, because it adds a mana cost, and allows you to keep the beneficial effects. So that's that. And like I said, just Abyss Jewel stacking here, Calamitous, Brutal Infamy, and then Abyss Jewel, Abyss Jewel, Abyss Jewel, Abyss Jewel. What is this? I'm Forbidden Flesh and Flaming like Clockwork for 30% CDR. I've got Secrets of Suffering currently. Don't know if I'm going to keep it. Probably not. I guess if I'm in an endgame setup with like a Mage Blood, and then I swap out these boots for something else, then I can perma Diamond Flask, and then I won't need Secrets of Suffering. But yeah. I think the pinnacle endgame stuff for this would be dropping Bubonic Trail and getting a Shaper, Redeemer, pair of boots. And then I can drop Stygian for Mage Blood, and then go from there. These sockets don't have to be linked, so I have a Rune Graft of the Jeweler here, and I have a Rune Graft of Time for 20% chance to not consume a cooldown on use. I believe this worked with Starfall, and, you know, it's cast on crit cooldown, but I can't really be certain because the cooldown is quite low anyway. I'm also not sure if it messes with trigger rate. So, I mean, we're gonna have to test with and without, but I think it's good, so I took it. But yeah, here's the assassin stuff we're taking: elusive, opportunistic, unstable infusion, deadly infusion, that stuff. I can't help but wonder if this build would be better as an elementalist, but I can't actually imagine having the socket space for golems. I'm gonna be honest, like, maybe I drop, I don't know, I drop, like, an aura here or there, but it's just, it's so socket heavy already, and, like, having to fit 4 golems in, there's just no way, right? Like, it's just, it seems beyond impossible, but maybe there's a world. Yeah, that's the build.